Hello, welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa, he is Sasha Segan, and we have an illuminating show for you today. We've got news, we've got questions answered, we've got a cool gadget to show you. But first, we want to bring this message from our sponsor, Intel. Today's show is brought to you by Intel, which invites you to check out its new pop-up Intel Experience Store in New York City. This unique, ever-changing environment provides the opportunity to get your hands on some of the latest Intel-based tablets and two-in-one devices. You can even test drive some of them at your home for a 24-hour period, enabling you to truly try before you buy. Catch the Intel Experience Store at 262 Mott Street in Nolita, open now through January 25th. For more information, you can go to intel.com/stores. Thank you very much. Now, the big news today, Google Zeitgeist has released its list of the most popular searches throughout 2013 and basically tells us exactly what we already know. People have been searching for Nelson Mandela, Paul Walker, the iPhone 5S, Corey Monteith, the Harlem Shake was a major search. This list comes out every year. Everybody writes about it. Everybody loves lists, but isn't this what we already know?
Well, what confuses me a little about this list and makes me wonder a little about how it's constructed or built is that it is so heavily weighted towards events that happened at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like you would think something that happened in January or February would have had more time to build search traffic, right? But, I mean, for instance, let's take Nelson Mandela and Paul Walker. These are two very famous guys who died very recently. So, Nelson Mandela, huge news event, but huge news event last week.
Yeah.
How is that a bigger search term than maybe something which had been bubbling all year? I mean, I don't get that.
The Boston Marathon is up there, and that happened a while ago. The government shut down. So there are some things which harken back, but overall, this just looks like the most popular trending topics that if you've looked at any website in the last 12 months, you've seen all these stories already.
Well, I mean, that's Google. I mean, Google represents what people look for on the internet, for better or for worse. For the vast majority of people in the United States, Google is the internet. Google is the opening page of the internet. So, yeah, it accurately represents the celebrities and news events that Americans are obsessed with at the moment.
You said there was one thing that surprised you was on the list?
Yeah, I mean, it was that Nelson Mandela was #1. This having just happened and not having had a year to build search traffic, it's absolutely huge. It's absolutely critically important. But I'm just curious about the structure of a list where stuff happening at the end of the year is at the beginning.
My only surprise was that the #1 beer that was searched for was Blue Moon. That it wasn't one of the majors. That was my only surprise.
Blue Moon is a major, though.
I guess so.
Yeah, is that Coors, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's the lady brand of one of the big beer brewers.
So moving on, also in the news today, Facebook has announced that it is finally going to release video ads. These are auto-playing video ads. They're going to appear in your Facebook feed they're going to auto-play, but there won't be audio with them unless you hover over them. 15-second ads in Facebook feeds. We knew it was coming.
So the good news is they're playing with no sound. So at least they're not going to annoy the people around you. But I'm very worried about this. And the reason I'm very worried about this is because of page load times and wait. Okay, Facebook's homepage is already a whole bunch of chunks. It's already somewhat heavy. Okay, load a bunch of video embeds in there. How quickly is this page going to load? How much more data traffic are these videos going to impose on networks? I'm worried that this is going to gum up the whole Facebook experience.
Yeah, especially on mobile, and these will appear on mobile devices. Facebook says these videos are only going to download in the background. They're only going to download via Wi-Fi, so they should not hit your data charges.
But even if they're only downloading via Wi-Fi, they're hitting your battery.
Yeah, they still have to load.
That's the thing. Yeah, so you're having all of these ad video downloads that you don't particularly want necessarily hitting your battery without your opting in, and that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, and this, especially for Android users who have all these background actions going on, Android users are very conscious of their battery life. This could significantly affect it. We'll have to see once it rolls out. Also in the news today, let's talk about these mysterious Beatles tracks, which have appeared in iTunes only to disappear across the world. I think they were up for about 2.5 hours in England. These tracks are still available in the US, but evidently they may not be around for very long. These are what, 120 lost Beatles tracks, which have been bootlegs. There's bootlegs out there, but this is the first time they've been available for purchase.
Yeah, it's a $40 collection of Beatles outtakes, studio recordings, and bootlegs from 1963. And what happened is that recently in the European Union, the EU passed a law extending the copyright period from 50 years to 70 years, but only for stuff that is in print or still on sale. So these guys, like the Beatles record company and Bob Dylan's record company and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all decided they needed to take anything they had from 1962 or 1963 that might be going out of copyright and briefly put it on sale so that this new EU law could apply to it. Like last year, Bob Dylan's record company actually sold 100 copies of what they called the Copyright Extension Collection, which shows
very
how,
sexy title.
Yeah, but it shows how completely worthless copyright has become, in that the public domain is dead, okay? Nothing is ever going into the public domain again that people care about.
At the same time, anybody that wants to listen to those tracks will be able to find them. I mean, these are lost tracks, but it's not like you have to get them from the iTunes store. There are other copies out there.
And also, just the popularity of illegal downloading, the popularity of bootlegging, the popularity of BitTorrent, for that matter, shows how just cripplingly broken our whole copyright system is, and it's a mess.
So if you want to steal those tracks, don't worry, you'll be able to steal them tomorrow. But if you want to purchase those tracks, you have to go to iTunes right now and buy them. This could be your only opportunity to actually pay for these songs. Let's move on to our reader question. It comes today from Mirza, who wants to know, again, another copyright question. Why YouTube is all of a sudden going after all the video game videos as violating copyright? As a you know, we have IGN's, one of our sister sites, something we're very conscious of.
More of our tortured tales of our copyright system. Okay, so YouTube has these things on it called MCNs, or multi-channel networks. And these are organizations that distribute videos across multiple people's channels, okay? YouTube also has these very aggressive automated copyright sensing routines. And it just started applying these automated copyright sensing routines to a lot of these MCNs, a lot of which distribute video game videos.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, though, that the copyrights it's sensing are not the video game company's copyrights. Often it's things like background music and images, which are licensed by third parties to the video game companies. And then the video game companies say it's okay to put out our video game video, but they may not necessarily own retransmissionable, or I don't know, now we're getting into crazy legal language, rights over all of the content in their video game.
Yeah,
it is a nightmare.
And this is what happens when you have robots do your copyright enforcement. They have to scan. It's the only way they could monitor that much content is to have it automated. And if you automate something like that, it's going to throw errors.
But it gets darker, because now they're finding that some of these copyright claims are coming from companies that no one has heard of, that might not even own the copyrights at all.
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
Yeah. So that's the best. So I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, Mirza, is the lesson there. Now it's time for one cool thing. We test thousands of things in the lab every year. We pull one cool thing every day off the shelf. Today, we actually sent Samara Lynn down to the Intel Experience store to pull one thing off their shelves. Samara, what do you have for us today?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm here in Intel's pop-up store in downtown Manhattan, and the one cool thing of the day is this Asus Transformer T100. Now, this is an editor's choice in our review, and what's really cool is that this is a hybrid device. So you can run it as a laptop, and then there's this little button here that you just press. It lifts out of the groove, and you have a tablet. What's really great about this also is a sub $400 price device. It retails at $350, and it's powered with an Intel quad-core processor. It also has, it's also charged with a micro USB, so that's really convenient. There's no proprietary cables, and while you're using this device, you can go ahead and charge up another device, so it's great for traveling. So come on down, we're at 262 Mott Street. You can take it for a test drive, see for yourself. Intel also has additional pop-up stores in LA and Chicago, so if you're in those cities, why don't you give them a visit? And that's our one cool thing of the day, and back to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Samara. And that has been PCMag Live today. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have a brand new show for you with more questions, more news, and more cool stuff. See us then.